Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we are going to be doing some technical analysis on Bitcoin because, as you probably noticed, over the last 9 days or so, Bitcoin has been in a massive correction, and we've actually just pulled right below $50,000, and there's a lot that we need to talk about in that regard. We have a lot to go over in today's video, guys, and I know you're going to get a lot of great value out of today's video. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're about to hit 91K subs. But anyway, guys, without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. All right, guys, as you can see here, Bitcoin has been in a correction for the last little bit. We pulled all the way down from $65,000 to $47,600 in the span of 9 days. That is a 27% correction. From there, we need to figure out what is going to happen next on Bitcoin. If we look down here on the hourly chart, you guys can see that Bitcoin has been in a relatively large correction for the last couple of days as well, pulling back 13% in 16 hours. Here's the very first thing I want to point out. This bounce here on Bitcoin, wherever it ends up going, is going to be very important. The farther that we're able to bounce off of our support down here at $47,000, the better, and the more likely it is that we're going to go into a larger uptrend. But if we don't manage to have a large rally and bounce from here, it is more than likely going to result in some kind of correction. If you guys will take notice of the 20 hourly exponential moving average, you can see that we're actually sitting right below it. And if we reject off of this, we're likely going to push back down to $47,000. Okay, well, that's all well and good, but if we look out here on the daily chart, I also want to show you a couple of things. Namely, the daily chart MACD is quite bearish and has been for the last 6 days. I am looking to see if this is going to reverse, and if it does, it will end up being very bullish for Bitcoin. Also, something else you need to pay attention to is the RSI and the fact that the RSI right now on Bitcoin is lower than it has been in over a year. The last time we were trading at 32 on the RSI was in March of last year, and the simple fact that we haven't been down here in this long indicates that we might be about to see some kind of bounce. Even though Bitcoin is in a correction, guys, here is some good news. The volume is pretty high and is trending to the upside, and as we can tell from the Bollinger Bands, Bitcoin is seeing more volatility. Bitcoin has pulled down outside of the Bollinger Bands, which is indicative that we're probably looking at some kind of short-term bounce. When Bitcoin gets outside of the bands, like we see right here, it does indicate that Bitcoin has gotten overextended in that direction, and Bitcoin needs to reverse, change direction, and go into a bit of an uptrend. So with that in mind, I think over the next few days, we're likely going to see a little bit of bullish momentum and bullish pressure on Bitcoin. So moving on here, guys, there is something I want to show you on the weekly chart, and that would be none other than the weekly chart MACD. Many of you guys have been asking me about this, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. You can see here that Bitcoin's weekly chart MACD has now crossed bearish, and if you look back on the history of Bitcoin, you might actually be pretty concerned about this because this is the first time in a while that we have seen a proper bearish MACD cross on Bitcoin's weekly chart. In fact, going back 3 years, we only have 3 examples, one right here at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, also right here in August of 2019, and here at the beginning of 2018 during the end of the last bull market. But I caution you from getting too much FUD around this topic because if you look back in 2016 and 17, what you are going to find is that there actually were multiple cases where Bitcoin had corrective movements and had bearish MACD crosses on the weekly chart. For example, in January of 2016, we saw right here that we had a bearish MACD cross, and also right here in August of 2016, we had a bearish MACD cross, and even though we did that, we still were in a bull market and continued a bull market for a very long time. So it's nothing you really want to get too worried about. One thing I would encourage you to pay attention to is this, though. Bitcoin has gone into a major rally over the last couple of years. Over the last year, really, Bitcoin rallied from its absolute bottom to its nearly absolute top 1,400% in about a year. Those kind of rallies have to have cool-off, guys. When Bitcoin went into a bull market last time, at the end of 2015, it took us almost 2 years to rally just as far, and because of that, Bitcoin had a much more sustained uptrend. Over the last couple of months, especially in quarter 4 of last year, from the beginning of September to the end of January, to the end of December, we saw a 326% movement in only 120 days. That is a lot of price action on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin naturally needs to correct. So here are some of the levels that it might do that to. One of the most important ones is the 20 weekly exponential moving average. You can see right here it's sitting at $44,500. Well, if you know your history, you will know that during the 2016-17 bull market, Bitcoin used this level of support multiple times. In fact, throughout the entirety of the 2016-17 bull market, we use this level over and over and over and over again. This is a consistent level that Bitcoin is capable of bouncing off of, and it actually would make sense for Bitcoin to come down here and test this since the last time we touched the 20 daily EMA May was back in September of 2020. It's been 9 months since we've touched this level of support that is designed, if you will, to hold up bull markets and prop them up and have them continue. It does make sense that Bitcoin would want to come down and test this. Anyway, if we look back here on the daily chart and we look at some of our moving averages here, you can see that Bitcoin is sitting right above the 100 daily simple moving average. This and the fact that we are bottoming out on the Bollinger Bands indicates to me that we're going to see some kind of short-term bounce, maybe over the next 2 to 3 days. From there, though, guys, based on everything I'm seeing, I do think we're going to pull to the downside. And I think even though it's not guaranteed, nothing's locked in yet, that it's more likely than not that we are going to break $47,000 and we're going to pull back to $42,000 to $43,000. And I'll show you exactly why. If we look down here on the hourly chart for Bitcoin, you guys will be able to tell that Bitcoin was in a descending triangle pattern. You can see it right here with this descending with that descending level of resistance right there, and also this flat level. This descending triangle pattern has a price target that is drawn like this. Let's go ahead and get a trend line here, and we can see that this price target came true. We pulled back to right around where it predicted. Well, unfortunately, guys, that is probably not the absolute maximum of where we're going to go, because another way that you can use these is not just as a descending triangle pattern, but also as a bear pennant. And if we draw our price target correctly like this and extrapolate, it would actually put us coming down to around $41,000 to $43,000 and change. So let's go back to full screen really quickly, guys. All of this to say that my prediction on Bitcoin for the next little while is that Bitcoin is more than likely going to break $47,000. It's going to use $42,000 to $43,000 as support, and then from there, it's going to either trade sideways or bounce. But at the end of the day, that's as far as I'm predicting. I think that Bitcoin is going to break 47.5, and it's going to pull down to 42 to 43,000. But here, let me tell you something, guys. This is not a bad thing on Bitcoin. This is not something that you should be concerned about, and this is not something you should get freaked out about. This is actually a very big opportunity for you if you're in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, because if you believe in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and their long-term potential, you will see this as an opportunity to buy. Because if we go back to my chart, I want to show you something else. During bull markets, Bitcoin will almost always pull back about 40% on its corrections. That is a lot, but it is consistent in how far Bitcoin corrects. You can see in this bull market back over here, Bitcoin pulled back 40% in 17 days. Right here, we pulled back 40% in 50 days. We pulled back 40% in 15 days here, 40% in 17 days here, 40% in 36 days here, and 40% in 21 days there. So Bitcoin likes to go into a 40% correction for between 14 to 60 days during bear markets. Excuse me, I keep saying bear markets. During bull markets, excuse me. So we actually want to look for 40% corrections during a Bitcoin bull market, or else we're like, okay, why aren't we correcting more? Maybe we're getting overextended. And in fact, if you look at some of these corrections that we've seen since January, we saw 30% in 14 days, not as big as we normally see, and also not as long as we normally see. We also see right here, we saw 27% in 9 days. Not as big as we normally see, not as long in duration as we normally see. Right here, we pulled back 20% in 14 days. Again, a relatively small pullback compared to what we're used to in bull markets. But here's the deal. If we look at Bitcoin potentially going down to $42,000, guess what? From our recent high, that'd be 35%. And I think it'll take some time to get down there. So it might actually pull us back 35%, maybe even a little bit lower, down to like $40,000. And that would fulfill that pattern that we see happen in so many bull markets, is a 40% correction during the bull market. So let's go back to full screen really quickly, and we'll wrap everything out with a prediction. I think it is more likely than not that Bitcoin is going to break $47,000. That being said, a lot of the bearish price action that we've seen over the last little while does have to do with bad news, if you will, FUD. There's been some speculation coming out that income tax brackets and capital gains taxes are about to change under the Biden administration. We really don't know what's going to happen with that yet, but at the end of the day, I want to leave you with an analogy. If you remember Smokey Bear always would say, only you can prevent forest fires. Well, America actually made a pretty big mistake in that, because the problem was the Park Service never wanted forests to catch on fire. And because the forest never caught on fire, because there were never any controlled burns to clear out all the debris and all the detritus on the ground of the forests, what happened? It all built up there, and then over the course of years and decades, there was so much tinder in the forest that anytime lightning struck, anytime some kind of fire got out of hand, the entire forest would go up in a giant flame, and it'd be horrible, it'd be disastrous, it'd be incredibly dangerous. But if you actually burn the forest every once in a while, in a healthy and controlled manner in what's known as a controlled burn, then you burn out all of that underbrush and you make the forest a lot healthier. How does this apply to Bitcoin? Well, I'll tell you, whenever Bitcoin doesn't have a large-scale correction, large enough that it actually meets our standards of a bull market correction, 40%, 14 to 60 days, if it doesn't do that, then it's building up a bunch of detritus on the bottom of the floor, on the bottom of the forest floor, and eventually some kind of fire is going to come through, and it's all going to go up in flames. And instead of having a nice healthy forest that took a nice healthy burn, you're going to lose the forest entirely. And that's where bear markets come from, is when you don't have controlled burns every once in a while like you need to, then the market gets too much kindling under it, it goes up in flames, and then that's where the bear markets start. If Bitcoin goes into a 40% correction here, down to $42,000 to $43,000, that is a controlled burn to help keep this market healthy. So it's not something that you should be scared of. In fact, it's something that you should look forward to, because there's a lot of money to be made when you buy the dip and you move it into your investment portfolio. So guys, tell me in the comment section down below, what do you think of my technical analysis, and what do you think of these new formats of videos? We're trying to do these in one take so we can get them out as quickly as possible. This video should be going out within an hour of me recording it, because we got to slap intros and outros and all that stuff on there, do the thumbnail and whatnot. Tell me in the comment section down below if you are enjoying this new format of video. Make sure to like the video. It really helps out the channel when you do that, and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 91,000 subscribers today, and I would love your help with that. Smash that subscribe button, hit the post notification bell, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, sign up for Bybit down below if you would like to get on a fantastic trading exchange that will help out our channel, and join the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy to start learning everything you need to know about trading, investing, and technical analysis in particular. Guys, that is going to wrap it out for today's video. Before I go, though, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Oh, I got a real good feeling.